Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we'll be looking at using Tonverk to control external instruments. In this case we'll be looking at using Tonverk to control software instruments on a computer. You could of course use it to control with your MIDI in and out here, external hardware, or even perhaps over USB now. I'm not sure of all instruments, but we'll just be concentrating on software. We'll be looking at how we set up the MIDI machine, how we can control or map these dials to your software, and then how to resample whatever you produce from your efforts. And finally, we'll be looking at a little bit of some modulation and some parameter logging as well. Okay, so let's get into it. What we need, we have a new project here. First of all, we need to go into our settings and set up the MIDI config. So we'll have a look at what we have here. This is how I have it set up here. I'm receiving MIDI from MIDI plus USB, that's MIDI being here, MIDI in or MIDI out. So on both channels, so both input and output are operating in parallel here. I could just switch this to MIDI or USB if I want, but I have it, the functionality for both set up. So let's come out of that. The channels I have set up like that. There's not so much going on here. Next thing we need to look at is our audio routing. And I need the USB audio in. If I was using the, where are they here, A and B external in, then I would use this one here. Oh, sorry. I would use this here, but I'm not using this. I'm using the USB, so I will have this set to out AB. So the audio comes in via the USB cable and goes out via my main outs on Tonverk. And of course, on a software instrument that you're using, you have to go in and find your audio MIDI settings here online and select the Tonverk as your audio device so that you get the audio going in and out. And you need to select, in my case, MIDI port Tonverk. So there's a few things you have to find in your software to set it up. You have to make sure that the Tonverk is directed at the MIDI and also directed as an audio device. Okay, the first thing we need to do actually is to put here, function source, a MIDI machine. Yes, we'll put that in, and we need to connect this to our software instrument. We need to activate the first one here, which selects the channel, the MIDI channel we're going to be using. There's a 16 possibilities, 16 channels on MIDI. We'll just be sticking with one. I'm not going to go into bank or program change or all the rest of these things. You'll have to look at those separately if you want. I want to just keep this quite simple. So we're just going to send MIDI via channel 1, and that means when we look at our software instrument, now every software instrument is specific. On the Arturia here, which I'm using, the SEM, I can go into my settings here and I see my MIDI channel here. Now I've got it all on all. I could just select it to 1, it would work as well. If I put it on 2, it won't work because we have 2 here and a 1 on the Tonverk. So I'll just leave it on all, and that means it will receive all 16 channels. Okay, so that's that set for us. So we should now be able to transmit from Tonverk and receive on the software. The next thing you have are these 2 banks on the filter in the amp of CC controls, of CC values you can set. These are linked to the dials here, and the value you put into these is what corresponds to the parameter on the software or the instrument you want to control. So what we'll do is we'll also function and push them down. We'll operate 4 of these. There is a second page. If we press it twice, we'll see there are some values already predetermined here. #70, #71. I can change these. So if I have an instrument that doesn't allow automatic mapping or learning, then I can perhaps look at my manual and see what MIDI settings I would need to put in here to control whatever function. Perhaps on the instrument you have, the filter frequency is controlled with 65. You'd have to set this to 65. These are all quite specific to the instrument. We'll just leave it as it is and go back to the first page. If we have a look at our software, on the Arturia I have a learn function, which is convenient. I can just click and then choose what I want the software to learn from my external controller. So I have this now clicked, and if I go back to Tonverk and I simply just turn this dial, we see the value 70 is here, And if I look on the second page, that corresponds with the 70 here. So Tonverk has sent the value 70 to the software to say that's what I want to control you with. So the next one I'll do is the resonance. We'll do a couple. Set the resonance. We'll also do this VCF filter type here. Allows us to, we can go here, do that. Allows us to morph between the filters. And finally, we'll have to come out of here quickly, I believe. I'll go into advanced and I'll put on the effects here. I'll map this here, this dry wet. So we go back into learn and let's click that and I'll map that to number 4. So I have the dry wet mapped as well. Okay, so we have everything. I can control dry wet at the bottom here. I can control the filter position or type of filter, the resonance and the frequency. Okay, so they're all set up. Right, let's get something playing then. Okay, now I have a sequence running. If I wanted to capture this sequence, well, how would I go about that? I'll just go into my recorder here. Let's just turn this off for a second. We'll set this main to, in my case, USB in. I'll say if you were using A and B in, you'd set it to A and B in, but I'm using the USB. I'll also set this to, let's say, 1 bar. And if I put the arming on, we can capture that. Right now, so I have that now captured. So if I just loop that, function arrow here. I've captured the loop. Perfect. So anything you manipulate in the software, you can capture in Tonverk and use in other projects. Okay, we'll come out of that for now. What else can we do? Well, we can modulate. Here I can use my LFO. And if we remember, I had these values here, 1, 2, 3. Let's set this to number 1. And you can see that the filter is being modulated now. I can do the same. We have 2 of these, so I can do a second one. Let's do the resonance. Number 2. So I can get things moving as well. If I wanted to, I can take it one step further. I can go in here into the grid recording. Now I only have an ARP playing here. Let's just put some trigs down. I can send MIDI note values. I could go back into my CC controls and control values here. Okay, I think you get the idea. A lot of control here. Well, maybe a bit too much. Okay, I hope you get the idea. All pretty powerful stuff. Yeah, thank you for watching and I hope the video has been useful and perhaps see you in the next one. Take care.